going through the basics, the introduction to video editing. So the outline of this, I would have say demo or training would be as follows. So maybe we'll kind of just go through what we want to do as a basic for doing video editing. After that, we'll go through the hardware and software requirements. And then after that, which would be the meat of this training, right, would be more on a actual hands-on of using the free software, Kdenlive. So I think as we start, and maybe I can attest to that personally. When I started doing video editing, right, I kind of think, oh, okay, I need to copy the different effects. I want it to be flashy and so on. But then as I realized, right, the most, I would have to say, effective videos that I came to know that made the most impact actually was just having very plain effects. So what I came to understand, it's really the content. What are you planning to kind of relay to the audience? And the information is cohesive, the information is structured. So I think that's one thing. I fell into the trap initially. Okay, I need to have the best looking logo, the best looking effects, having all those transitions. And while those are good, I think if the most important thing that we really have to focus on is the content. And what are the basics, right? Basics as we have to make sure that we have a clear audio, there's no background noise, and then the video uh, is properly exposed and stable. It's not shaking. So as long as these basics are covered, then I think we should be able to come up with an effective video that relays the message that we want to relay. In terms of hardware and software requirements, again, it depends on the actual software that you're going to use. But video editing is quite taxing on the hardware. So we suggest that we have at least a mid-range computer. So what does that mean? An Intel i5 within the past couple of years with at least 8 GB of RAM. Still, if you are planning to do a lot of editing, we recommend 16 GB. And hard disk drive videos can be quite big. The ones that comes with laptops is 256. You can quickly consume that probably in a couple of months. So we suggest at least 512. And we suggest as well, not the rotating one, but a solid state drive. That would speed up your workflow as well. And then since it's a video, it's a graphics intensive application, video editing, right? We also suggest that whatever PC you're using comes with a dedicated graphics cards. So that would really speed up the process. Now, in terms of software, right, as he mentioned earlier, there's a lot available in the market right now. Popular ones are Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve. Some comes for free, which is in if you're having an Apple iMovie. So for today, right, we'll be discussing about Kdenlive. I'll discuss that in the next slide. But then another optional one that sometimes I kind of use is a video converter. And why would that be needed? Sometimes there might be certain videos that is not natively supported by your video editing software. So when you try to put it there, import it, it will show an error. Okay, it is not supported directly. So you might want to do a one-time conversion from the unreadable format to the one that's supported by your software. With Kdenlive, I haven't experienced that yet, but then something to take into consideration probably if you have an older video probably or a source that is coming from somewhere else. But yeah, it's purely optional if only when you encounter that kind of a problem. Okay, so out of the different video editors that we have, why did we kind of select Kdenlive? So for one thing, it's an open source video editor. It is completely free. It runs on all the major operating system, Windows, Mac, and Linux. In fact, I'm actually running right now on Linux, but then I've tried it on Windows. It has the same functionality as well. And in terms of feature set, right, it's quite comprehensive. I think you should be able to do a lot already in terms of video editing with this software. Of course, it cannot compete with the commercial ones, but what it has right now is quite competitive. I've seen some vloggers even use this one exclusively, and then they produce really good videos as well. And even within the open source world, there's others available, right? Outshot, Shotcut. I think there's also recently Olive. But Kdenlive has been there for, I think, over 10 years already, if I'm not mistaken. And it's wide supported. It's well being developed continuously. So I think that this software will still be available. Whatever tools, or I mean, things that you try to study will still be applicable in the years to come. So that's, I think, one important thing. Open source video editors come and go, but one editor that I've seen that has lasted for years is Kdenlive. So I think it's a good choice use for video editing. Okay, with that, let's start with the UI. So let me launch my Kdenlive. So if you're familiar or have seen any video editor, it will be very, I think, similar. There will be one area, this part, wherein you'll be able to put in your different sources, videos, images, sounds, or music, right? And then there will be an area where you can have the different effects that you'll be able to use. This is the preview of either the source that you'll be importing, or if you selected it in the timeline here, the video that you're editing. And as I mentioned, this timeline is probably where most of your work will be doing, is what you call the timeline. Where you put in the different sources, realign it, edit, put in effects. This is the area where you'll be putting in a lot of the work. So once you open it, right, once you open your application, the first step would be to put in all the different sources that you have. So for this, before you even start, what I recommend is to put or compile all the things that you want to put in the video in one folder. And then from there, you can, how do you import? You can click on this icon here and then add the clip of folder, which is normally and then find your clip. Or, which I prefer, just find it in your Explorer or Finder and then click whatever you want to import and just drag it there. So you'll see it's now available. And then from there, you can start putting in all those different components or media that you have. So let's see. As I mentioned earlier, this one allows you to kind of preview first the video. You can select and then this one will be an image. It's a plain image, and this one will be It's just music, right? It's just an audio file. So to put it in the timeline, this will be the timeline will be how your video will look like, right? You just need to drag it. And you will see, okay, I can drag it here. I can drag here as well. So in video editing, and most video editing has a similar concept, they have different tracks. So you can combine different, you can think of it as a layer, wherein the topmost would be the one that will be visible first. So you can think of it as one is superimposed by another. So let's say I can put it here, the first one, and then you can actually put another one here, meaning they are imposed. But then the one that you'll see is the first one because that's considered the topmost. I'll show you later how to be able to see two videos side by side, but I think the more important thing here to understand is the topmost. If you have multiple uh, overlapping components, the one that will be most visible will be the one on the top. Okay, so let's just delete one first, the video. So let's just say you have this video. What do you normally want to do first? Maybe you want to say, okay, I don't want a certain area, and you want to cut certain areas, right? So, but then you want it to be more precise. Sometimes the view here might not be granular enough. So there's a way for you to kind of close up the view for that particular video or the whole timeline, which is this one. If you want to, sometimes if your video is too long and you kind of want to have a more overall view of the video, you can use this. But then if you want to zoom and then be able to work on it in more detail, you can then drag it to the right and then you'll be able to kind of see it in detail. So let's say, okay, in this video, how do you do, I mean, once you drag it in the timeline, right, you can drag it to put, to go to a particular section of the video. And then once you've selected a particular area, you can play it temporarily by pressing space. So I think that's one of the more popular shortcut. Just space to start and then space again to stop it, and then drag it to go back to the right. I mean the desired location. So the first, I think, common one is, let's say you've started doing a video, you want to kind of remove certain part of the video, maybe the beginning part or on the ending part. Maybe someone is, you want to remove, yeah, either the beginning part, or what you can do is the simplest one is just hold it, and then you should be able to see this kind of an icon, right? I mean, a cursor, which will allow you, and then while pressing the left mouse button, it allows you to kind of trim it. And the same thing here at the end, you'll be able to trim it. So you can see it's now shorter. We've cut off the start and the end. Now, this I think is one way to do editing. Another way, if, for example, I want to cut something in the middle. So where do you want to put in the cut? Just go and to the desired location, right click, and there will be this split the video. Sorry, not the split, sorry. This cut, sorry. So it allows you to cut it and then put it in another place. Okay? I think these are the two most common ways to edit a video: to trim and then to cut. So let's say we want to put in another video in the middle of these two clips. Which one did we? This one is the one we added, right? So let's say I want to add another video in the end, so you can drag it, right? You can put it and drag it and then put it here as well. And you can do the same thing. You can either just trim it by dragging, or if you want to click again, split again, go to the right location that you want to split and then cut it. So if you take a look, I can then drag again. And let's try to play. I mean, playing again, go to the beginning of the video and then press space. You'll see. So we've seen where we are able to switch between different videos. Now, another thing probably that's probably common would be to add a background sound while it's playing something, right? So with that, we've downloaded a free video, I mean audio. Just drag it again here. Let's put it in the beginning. You can select, right, multiple items by clicking select while pressing select while clicking on different components. So for example, if I don't do that and then I try to drag, I'll have to do it one by one, right? But especially if you work on a lot of items already, you can click on multiple items while pressing down on shift allows you to select many items at a time and then drag it. So here we can see that we have video that is alternating between two views, and then there should be a background playing. We can see. So now you can hear some music from the video, which probably you want to remove. So you can you can do it in multiple ways, right? By disabling the video audio from one track completely, which works already. But then there might be cases where you want to do it per video. For example, for certain clips, you want certain videos, audio to be played, but not for some. So what if you want to do it only for certain areas? So for that, click on the video that you want to have. This one I think is the one not having video. Yeah. A little bit of noise. What you can do, and I use it a lot, really. You can do this, ungroup the clips, and then the video part and the audio part will be separated. You can see that you can select it individually, and allows you to delete. Like this one, right? I cannot do it. It's in one group. This one allows me, by ungrouping the clips, allows me to delete it. So that means if you take a look right now, if we play again from the beginning, so we now have a clip without the background music. So probably we don't want this video to play until the end. Let's say we just want it to end. Again, you can use the cut clip, the area here. You can delete this part that we don't need. We're pressing delete. So this is a but I think you're probably seeing the point now that it's just a matter of mixing different sources, putting in a video. So the next probably step that you want to do is, what if I want to add some text, which is common, right? Maybe an introduction of this video, and then maybe at the end you just want to put in the end kind of thing. So with that, again, it should be easy. In the project, there should be an add title clip. And from here, you can just put in anything you want. Let's say the title, My Vacation, and allows you to kind of change the the font, right? Make it bigger, make it bigger, right? And then change the alignment. You want it to be in the middle here, horizontally, middle vertically, or maybe put it here, depending on what you prefer. The colors, you can change it here. And then what it does though, is that it just creates a new clip that's available here. You have to still drag it to the right, the desired location. So once you've selected the clip, you can just drag it back again. And you have the option to kind of determine how long this title will last. So by default, it's quite long, right? But you have an option to just drag it again to be smaller. So if you see it here, it will be imposed to the video because it's on the same location, right? Same time. But of course, what other people would probably do as well would be to put it as a separate, completely separate clip. So if you do that, I mean, it will have the same result if you put it here because there's nothing underneath it. So I think, and then we can do another one for the end. I mean, it's a short video, but I think you get the point. You can put in the end here, and then it will create a new clip that you are then free to put in anywhere. So drag it again. You can trim it. And if you try to take a look, again, maybe if I want to have still music here, I can extract a little bit, extend a little bit. And then if you try to play, the music it's kind of a hard stop. So one common, I think, editing technique as well would be to do a little bit of fade out. So how would you do that? Very simple. It's actually when you select the audio, right? You'll be able to see this small icon here or cursor here. You can drag it. This allows you to do when the fade out starts. So if you take a look again, try to play, there's a gradual fade. I think it's a quite an important technique. And the same thing here, if you take a look here.
Brian, can you show that again? The fading out.
Hello?
Yeah, Brian, can you show the fading out again?
The fade out, okay.
Yeah.
By default, click on this audio file. You'll see a small red dot. And then drag it to the left. So that will then determine when the fade out will happen. So the fade out will start from this point, and then you can see it goes down. This is the volume. So
Okay, thanks, mate.
And then you can do the same thing for fade in. So let's say we want to start the audio from the beginning, but then start do I click okay, sorry. I probably started, I didn't trim it on the left earlier. I mean, it might be good for some, but maybe if sometimes you prefer a fade in, it will be the similar concept. If you click on the audio file, you'll see a green dot. Click on that and then drag to the right. And then you can experiment up to when would kind of fits for your particular scenario. But let's say in here, would be I mean, it's a short one. It's a 5-second video, right? But I think we've kind of done a lot already. We're able to add in a title, ending title, I mean, as well. We've been able to put in multiple, what do you call this one? Components, media files, 2 videos. What if, you say, what if while it's playing a video, I wanted to show another video or another picture? So let's say in here, I wanted to show a picture of the bird that we haven't used yet. But then if you do that, if you try to put it at the same time, let's say it just shows it at the same duration. That's probably not what we want, because the image will be the topmost and it covers the video already. So how do we remediate that? So let's say I want the video to be playing on the left side of the screen, and then the picture, the image, kind of showing on the right hand, upper right hand. What we can do, let's start first with the video. Click on that. Select this compositions tab. Oh, sorry, not the effects tab. And then here, under the alpha transform, there will be a transform. Just drag it on the clip that you want to, oh. Okay. And you start, once you do that, once you drag the effect to the right, the clips that you want to edit, you'll be able to adjust. Hold on, just give me a second. So once it's selected, you should see this red borders, right? Which are, you then be free to change. Now, one thing here, which I think the default should not be the case, is that when you try to edit, right, it doesn't preserve the aspect ratio, meaning that I can easily skew it actually should be okay. So you're free to kind of edit it like that. And then on the video here, one thing, right? If you click and it's not showing something, that means your pointer here is outside. So that's what happened here. So even though I selected it, it's not showing. Let's just go with here. and allows you to see it in real time, right? So with that, we're able to kind of able to show two different clips. It doesn't have to be a picture, right? It can be two videos, which we can do right now. Maybe we want to do this together. If I put it here, it just covers, right? What we can do again, we can transform this, make it smaller. We can do a picture in picture here, right? How you want to kind of present the videos, different videos would be up to you. So common would be to show it side by side like this. Some might prefer a picture in picture kind of view. And yeah, I mean, of course, the most common is just to show one clip. So let's pause for a while. Any kind of question you want clarifications before we proceed to how to export?
Brian, can you do a superimpose rather than, you know, it's just an overlay? You know, I'm trying to say, like you actually have the bird, like if you can get a flying bird video, and it's flying over, you know, your vacation video. Is that possible?
Yes, it is possible. It is possible, but then first, I haven't down, it's more of the, I would say, intermediate, because for it to work, to make it look seamless, the picture or the bird has to have a background that is plain in color. So I don't have that one prepared. I can do probably, but I would consider that a little bit more advanced, because you have to kind of do pre-processing of your video so that everything is background.
Okay, we can keep it for the advanced course, Brian. Thanks.
Yeah. But one thing I can probably, but other than that, before we move on, maybe to do a bit of exporting, and then we can go back to some other editing techniques. And any questions you want to go through again?
Brian, what about PowerPoint if I want to put a PowerPoint there?
The actual PowerPoint or just a picture of a PowerPoint?
So yeah, I mean, do I need to change the PowerPoint into a picture, or can I just put a PowerPoint, just one of the slides?
You can. I mean, well, I think for that, right? OBS. I don't know if you've joined our OBS tutorial. I think if you want to do sharing of a presentation and then while you are speaking, I think OBS might be a better tool for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Premiere Pro, Adobe?
Adobe Premiere Pro is definitely a more advanced software than Kdenlive. You can do more. You can do different coloring, different effects like 3D.
It looks like this. I've not really played with it. I got it installed right now, but it seems to be similar like this, right?
It will be very similar. You will have a place where you can import different videos or files. If you have it already and then it runs well on your machine, you can use it, because I mean, you have it already, because it's as we mentioned earlier, right? The reason why we didn't pick Adobe Premiere Pro is that it's quite expensive, and probably for a lot of churches, right? I think funding normally is a bit of a challenge, and that's the reason why we opted for open source. But if you have it already installed on your machine, you are definitely free to use that as well. It has more features, but the general idea, right? would be the same. The exact operations, how to accomplish the same exact, I would have to say, result might be a bit different, but the what do you call this? The overall concept should be the same. You can drag in different sources, select, and then you can do what you want to do with that particular um, media file.
Sure.
So yeah, if you have it installed, yeah, definitely you can try it. But for those that they don't have anything yet, then yeah, you can start first with Kdenlive. Once you think that okay, Kdenlive doesn't need, I need more feature, then yeah, you can opt for something commercial. But I think again, from experience, and even a lot of people actually feels that for basic, even intermediate editing, Kdenlive would be I think more than enough. Once you only dwell into more advanced um, stuff, more effects, and more yeah, something I'll show later is how to add transition. But other than that, yeah, I think yeah, if it runs, one thing with Adobe Premiere as well is that it can be a little bit slow on older machines. So I don't know what kind of laptop you have or that you're using, but if it runs well, especially as you start adding in more videos, right? That's when you kind of start to see it slows down. But this one, I've created a, and I don't have a fairly advanced machine. It's a, I would say mid-range, and I can edit quite a big video already with this one. So try it. I mean, since you have it, try it and then see if you're getting acceptable performance for that software. But if it's kind of too slow or crashes a lot, then you can try switching and try to see if Kdenlive provides a better experience for you. Okay?
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, thanks. So one thing again, I suggest for any application, right, to save often. So I didn't do that. So you can see here, I've been doing a lot of this music video that for our group. I mean, you can demo. You can just put in a demo, save a lot, and as it is right now, so that's just a project, right? What if we want to kind of create the output file, an MP4 or any other format that we can then share or post in YouTube? So the next step would for that would be to render it. So to do that, I mean, I think we have this you have this render icon. Just click on that. It gives you a lot of different options. But I think for most cases, unless you have a specific need, right, you kind of just go with MP4. So yeah, you can try others, but I think this is just the recommended one. You render to a file, and then it will show you. We can see it here now. I think that's now. Let's go. So I think we've gone through an end-to-end, right? Import different clips, images, or with audio files, put in a title, do a bit of combining or showing multiple tracks side by side or as a picture in picture. I think one other thing that is common would be to have some kind of a transition from one clip to another. I think the most common one would be to have just a fade in. I mean, since it's a short video, let's start from scratch. Let's start deleting stuff here. Let's say from this video, let's do while it's playing. So one thing, right? Probably not. If you try to drag it here, it's not working. The reason is this audio file is already occupied. So one thing I forgot to kind of tell you, what if we want to add more tracks? Kden allows you to kind of create more tracks. So you can have, for example, 3 side-by-side pictures or 4 or multiple videos or audios playing. So while probably there's a background sound, you can put in a sound of a bullet or something else. You can add as many tracks here as you want. So how to add a new track? Just right click while you're here on this area on the left side, right click and insert a track. So you have an option of creating a video track only, an audio track, or both an audio video one. I think in this case, I just want to have a dedicated one for the audio, the background music that we have, right? So I think just one audio track would be sufficient. And then I'll just bring down this audio here. So if I do that, I'll be able to drag now. Because now there's nothing in this audio track, right? That's preventing me from moving, superimposing the other video. So if I do that, this is the part that where the expect the transition to start when they have an overlap. So right now it's just a hard cut. So another thing that you might want to do is there will be this, it's most of the time it will be just be the wipe. There are different other effects, right? But I find them too gimmicky. I think for most people, I think the wipe is more than enough. So click on that, but you are definitely free to explore. So just click on that, drag it, and then it will automatically size it where there's an overlap. So if you try to take a look, you can see there's a bit of overlap already. Let's just say we want to put in more of an overlap so we can see the effect. So here, if you click on the transition, right, you have different other options. So you can do a divide. Again, I find them tricky. I think the default one of fade in, fade out is it's more than sufficient. What else do I can think of? Sometimes, right, when if the background video is too overpowering, it kind of I would have to say impacts, right, or is just a distraction. So you have an option to put in a gain adjustment if you need to. So for example, some people might prefer, for example, during a congregation, you want to play some kind of a really subtle music, right? So you don't want it to have the same volume as this one. So for that, you can just select the audio file, the audio clip, and put in gain. And then you can put in either 1000, how many percent? So maybe half, let's say half. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, let's say. Yeah. I think you've seen cases as well. Before I continue, any questions?
You were saying you use gain to reduce the volume of the music.
Overall, yes.
Okay, it didn't really go down that much. And then what's about the
Oh,
volume?
really?
I see a volume button there as well.
Okay. It is similar, but it has this keyframeable. What's the difference? The thing is, most effects allows, it's only, I would have to say, static during a time period, meaning you can only make the gain same setting for this whole clip.
Okay.
What if you want to have it for certain periods higher, or then for certain a period of time it's lower? Then those that has keyframeable means that you can do that. Depending on the time, you can kind of adjust. That's actually something I'll show you shortly, because sometimes you want to hear. Let's say this picture, right? Either during, as time progresses, you actually want to make it smaller or bigger. How would you do that? So I think this is also something I learned, and that's why let's
Okay.
try to start from the beginning, right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
So let's say I have a picture, a video here. Let's say I'm thinking in my mind, right? Okay.
Can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
When you drag and put the picture there, why is there a kind of a blue between the two pictures, the beginning and the end?
The picture? Which picture? Sorry, which one?
So V1, no, yeah, V1, right?
Uh-huh.
The whole, I see the picture frame first, and then it's all blue, and then you get a picture again. So what's the blue indicate?
It's just that there's other pictures there. I mean,
it doesn't show.
Yeah, that there's other thing that's still not shown.
Okay, then how do you get to see that? If maybe that's something that you want to delete off, how do you see that?
Okay.
So you got to see it on your top right hand corner first.
Top right. So if, for example, you want to go to the, so using this slider here, right? Go to the area that you want to delete. Let's say again, let's go back. You can deletion. Normally, editing your video is normally either removing certain portion from the left side from the beginning or at the end, or you want to take off certain areas here. Let's say I want to remove this area. So you can go to the starting point, cut a clip, and then the ending point, and then cut a clip again. So you're free now to kind of delete this, and then
you're doing it because you don't have a specific point where you want to start and stop, right? But sometimes in a video, where I struggle is exactly the point. How do you get to see that? So you're looking only at the top right hand corner.
Yes.
Okay, so you got to move your cursor and then watch your top right hand corner, and then you click start, and then
yes.
drag it slowly,
but for that, right? So
you mentioned the bottom as well, yeah.
Yeah. So this allows you to kind of close up a little bit. So this one really allows you to be more precise. So
these are few microseconds only, right?
Yes. So this one allows you to kind of really go down to the exact frame. This is really more frame by frame.
Yep.
If you move it to the extreme right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And another one, right? Instead of doing this, if your mouse has a cursor wheel, what you can do is, if you just move in the cursor wheel without pressing any key, it will just move it to the left or right, which is already useful by itself. You don't have to kind of use this one, right? The drag, especially if you, or another of, if you press on control while dragging the cursor key, you can actually do what you do here. So if you drag, depending on, yeah, I'm rotating it to downwards, and then it becomes smaller, right? So you get a more of an overall view of your video. But then if you want to drill down, zoom in, then I'm scrolling up. Again, it depends on how you configure your key on your.
So, okay. A normal mouse, the wheel in the mouse, when you place it on the video and you go up and down, it will go left and right.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, without clicking on anything, it will go left and right.
Left and
But
right.
then
If you do control, then you are expanding it.
Yes. So I think this one is also quite good, as you have a lot of more videos, and then you want to really be more precise. So allows you, if you really become close up, it's per frame. It's really one frame by frame now.
Okay. Okay. So that's a frame, that small white bar I see.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
What else? So I forgot. So what are keyframes? So I mentioned earlier, right? Certain
Brian,
effects.
you know that we got a message that they actually canceled this in one of the WhatsApp?
Oh, that one I'm not aware.
Sorry, cancel what? Can you repeat?
This session that we were supposed to have, there's a WhatsApp called leadership group, right? Leaders training.
Oh,
I received a message saying that it was postponed to the 29th of August.
Oh, that is another training. That is Zoom alternatives. Yeah, that's another class.
Okay, okay. Good that I joined in. I thought it was canceled. I thought just give it a shot. Okay, sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Because I only see there's only you, and right now it's just you and me. We get private tuition. Good. Thanks, Ryan.
Oh, no problem. So let's go with keyframes. So keyframes, I mentioned, it's more of a medium to intermediate to advanced concept, but I think it's good to be familiar early, because it really widens the basically the possibility for your video. So what basically a keyframe allows you to apply or change a particular effect as time goes by. So what were the basic effects that we learned earlier? Transform, I think, would be one of the basic ones. So let's say this video, I want to start from the left and then move to the right. How do I do that? So again, let's start with this one. Let's say maybe here. And then maybe towards this part, I want to have another one. And then here, I want to have another one, but then in here. So we started with small. I mean, at this point, it's still small, but then after that, I changed the size. and then move the location as well. So in effect, we're able to kind of do some kind of uh, transition, or I would have to say different effect applied as the time goes on. So
it's the same video running through, but the video as it is running, it's moving to the right.
it's moving to the right.
Okay. And
So
he did that by clicking a minus sign there?
yes. So most again, let's go with that again, because this one is the exact operation per app software is different, but then it's about first applying the effect, right?
So you drag the transform and put it on the video, and then
Yeah.
it goes like opaque a bit.
So let's say you want, let's say it starts from big, and then you want it to become small. That's probably what you want, right? Or I mean, let's see, what do you want to do? Let's go and try to do that.
Yeah, big to small is fine, and then you put it at the corner.
So right now, it's just big for everything, right? We haven't done any transformation, but let's say it starts big. So here, oh, why did we apply? Okay. So let's say it starts big still, but then towards the middle, I want it to be a bit smaller. So let's put it, that's when you want to change the settings, that's when you want to add a keyframe, and then you are free now to change it a bit, and then maybe go through a different portion of the video again, and then add a new keyframe, and then let's say I want to put it here, and then move into another point of the video, and then maybe let's make it bigger again.
Okay.
So if we do that, so that's the main point of doing a keyframe for that same effect, different period of the video, right? You can change the setting, and that's the same way as well for the audio. That's the same. Gain doesn't allow you to really, unfortunately, some effects, right, for the video, what do you call this one, you know, by experimentation, even though it says there's no key frameable, if you can see this kind of control, you'll see that it's key frameable, although some it's explicit, some are not.
Okay.
So it's kind of more on experimentation. What I can say is that I use a lot transform, and I know from experience, yeah, that it has this key frameable control, and then I know gain doesn't have. But if I need to do more, I would have to say fine tuning of the volume depending on the video. Then I'll use this one.
So if you want to do the two videos you have shown, and if I do the video starting on the left and then expanding it out, and then when it's going to the right, it goes to the other, transition to the other video into a small corner, and then opening it up.
You can do that, yeah. So you want this video you want, right?
I want the two videos, right?
Okay, so let's get the other
So
video.
we'll start with a small video at the corner. It blows up to become big as the video goes. Then it goes to the right end small, and then the next video comes out like a transition.
So we can start small. So right now we start big, right? So we can start small. So I can add, can actually make it small, and then I'll remove probably this one. I'll remove. Oh, hold on. So this allows you to kind of go through the keyframe that you've created. So we've started small,
Okay.
and maybe this one not needed. Oh, sorry.
And what do you do? You delete? How did you do that?
Here you can just delete.
How, how did you delete? Just
Yeah, just click and then delete. Click on the area that you want to delete.
and then delete button, huh?
Yeah. So right now
Okay.
we only have this, and then you want to move it from here. You want to move to the right, right?
To the right hand corner.
To the right hand corner.
From there, make it big and then later become small right hand corner. That's right.
So like this. Sorry, I did. Sorry, it was playing. Let me just delete the ungroup, so it doesn't play any. So you want it here?
Okay. Then it comes to the middle, right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes big, full screen. Okay.
In
And
the
this
middle.
one.
So the middle, after middle, it becomes big. You want?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, after the middle, you want it big. So maybe around this.
Then you got to create another keyframe.
Yeah, from here.
Okay. Okay. Create keyframe and then open it up.
Okay, and then from there, we want it to be big. At one point, you want it to be completely big. Maybe at this point, maybe.
Yep, for a few seconds, and then after that, it goes towards the corner.
Okay, so from here, we make it bigger, let's say.
Oh, okay. So you go to the right, and then it shows from the left to the right, but you start from the right.
Then from here.
Big, yeah. Okay, and then go back to smaller.
To the right or to the left? To the right.
To the right corner.
To the right. Okay. So from there, maybe let's put in another one here, and then let's put it here.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
So we can see that starts, it goes big.
And get big.
Something like that.
Okay, all right. So that's how you just do, okay, all right, good. Okay.
So one thing as well, right? Maybe from here, you can do the same thing for logos. You can actually, the logo that we have earlier, you can make it move.
Okay.
So you can make it the same thing, the transform. This is actually in Kdenlive, this is what I use most of the time. So from here, you can add, right? And then let's say I want to move it to a different area around here. I put in a new keyframe, and then maybe just put it here. I mean, just a simple test.
Yep.
So you can see here. You can, of course, be as fancy. You can add more. You can probably put it here.
If I want to move the logo to my first picture, I just move the whole thing to the left side.
You can just put it here.
And then now it will superimpose, right? One on top another.
It will be on
they will
top
play
of another.
together. Okay, let's try.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
So it's really more about combining and then all the different techniques. I think this keyframe, just with this, right? Putting in maybe another picture and then having the side by side, combining that, you already can accomplish, I think, a lot in terms of what you can present to the viewers.
Yeah.
So you can move, put in this different items.
Sure. What about voiceover?
Voiceover. Okay. So.
Am I jumping? Just let me know if you're gonna come there.
Sure. No problem. I think right now, most of the time should be more on Q&A, right, SC? I think I've gone through basic editing.
Yeah, I
We've
think
been able to put in videos, images, and I think it's more about really more on open Q&A.
Agree.
So,
right.
So yeah, I mean.
Okay, so how do we do the voiceover?
Voiceover is actually
You need to record it separately, or can you do it online here with Kdenlive or
Here, I don't think it's
Kdenlive?
possible. So with that, you probably would like to kind of record other software. You're able to do it. Here, unfortunately, it's not yet integrated, but it's easy to do it if you're into, I would have to say, if you have a what do you call this one? A phone. Just transfer the audio from your phone in here. Now I'm
Okay.
using one thing I'm using, right? Um, and probably that's something that we can do at a later session. I'm using another open source application for video dubbing. So for example, right, if we want to do some kind of a congregation singing, simulate it. So I record a sister's voice, and then later on, at a different time, right, record another um, person's voice, and then combine it, and then in the background. I mean, I can show it, but I think probably good to do it in a different session. But I
Yep,
use
sure.
it to do that, right? I'm using again, everything we're going to share is most of the time open source. But the good thing here is that I can just take a look.
Through the way things up.
Just give me a second, okay? Let's say I have an MP3. I can drag it, and then, but at the same time, I can, it's just an instrumental. I can create, again, a tracks, different track, a stereo one, for example, temporarily. I can then record. I can start recording. Maybe it's good to have this one as a separate session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit confusing
It
already.
can become, yeah, because, but this one is what we use to kind of
Audacity, yeah.
combine. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not yet supported. I'll try to see if it's possible.
Okay.
But right now, you have to do the recording outside of Kdenlive. But then once you record it using even your phone, right, you can easily transfer it here and then drag it. So for voiceover, right, and that's, I think, were you able to for most of voiceover ones, I think it's better to use OBS for that. And I don't know if you were able to join or seen our training for OBS.
No,
If you're,
I've not.
yeah, I think for those kind of things, OBS is
So
probably more
what
appropriate.
is complementary, or what looks like OBS in Adobe Creative Cloud?
Adobe
Do you know?
Creative Cloud. No, that one I'm not
No, okay.
familiar.
Because I just signed up for Adobe, and then I saw this. I thought, okay, maybe it might look all similar. If I learn this, I can learn how to use Adobe tools.
The thing with Adobe though, the Premiere Pro, you should be able to do the, what do you call this one? The
voiceover?
record the voiceover within the
Okay.
same application. I think
Okay.
you should be able to just put in a new track and then able to record it from there.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
I just bought that license, so I thought if I see what you're doing here, I can play around with the other one. But you're right. This one looks similar to that.
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
very similar. Yeah. Well, the good thing with this video editors, right? The concepts behind it would be really the same. It's just that the exact details to accomplish a certain thing, right? Might be, yeah, a bit different here and there. Overall, right? Yeah, it should be very similar. So what else here? I mean, keyframe, I think it's more intermediate, but I think the better, because this is something I never knew until probably a couple of years after I started editing. And then once I knew it, it basically opened up a whole lot of possibilities for editing, right? So not only the volume you can change as time goes on, even the color sometimes. So depending on that, it could be black and white initially, and then it becomes more saturated as time goes on. It kind of
Can you do that?
brings
Show
in,
us how to do that very quickly, because that's
yeah,
useful.
this one.
Or just the color, is it? You click start and then it change the color. Saturation, is it?
Let's just see, saturation probably would be a good start. Let's remove certain that it makes it. I don't know which are. I mean, let's see. Very simple would be the brightness. Let's just see, because this one is. I'm sure this is keyframeable. So we can see right now it's just the same. But let's say it starts from here. And then as time goes on, we want it to be darker, right? Let's say here it becomes, add a new keyframe here, and the intensity becomes 50. So we can see here from 100 we can see
Okay.
and even saturation, probably saturation might be good. Let's delete it. I don't know if saturation is, it's not keyframeable. I wonder which one. Yeah, so colorize would be, we start with this one, maybe 100, yeah. And then we add here, it becomes, I think 100 is the default one. Got to see. So it becomes black and white already. I mean, just for, as an example, it might have a different. Those kind of adjustments.
Got it. So you click the start, then you move to the next part, then you put the plus sign.
Yes, where you want to have that
So
change
you
to
start
happen.
the point first, and then from where to where you want the color, then you put the plus, and then that's the
Yes.
area. Right?
And then in between that point, then the software will then do the gradual transition from that, from the first point into the second point. Now,
I get.
one thing, right? And sometimes, right, you want, and that's where more of the advanced, the more commercial ones is, I think has advantage, is that in Kdenlive, it's linear. The transition from one effect to another is linear, which is, I think, most of the times is what you want. But then for, I think, Adobe Pro, you can put in a bit of a ramping up or down. So it will be slow at the beginning and then start up, and then you can go down. So you can have this one, or you can have that kind of a more granular control. But most of the time, linear, I think, is what people want. But it's just that, yeah, if you have more controls, that's where the commercial software provides this additional features.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, any other things you want to kind of?
I guess there's enough to play around with this.
Hey, Jerome, you're trying to produce a blockbuster.
Blockbuster. No, I'm just trying to get small, and that's why the voiceover and all that, because everything is going e-learning now.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put some small clips of introducing my topics in my website.
Wonderful.
So I'm playing around with videos, and I'm trying to do that, and also I'm trying to do e-learning, which is Adobe Captivate, but I need to find somebody to advise me before I start spending money on all these things.
Yeah.
It's time consuming, huh?
Yes.
If you don't know how to use these things, man, it's a pain and not easy.
I mean, how long are your courses? I mean,
so some of the courses are 1 day, 2 days kind of courses. Okay. So I'm trying to reduce the face-to-face time. Actually, I'm working with another church called Kingdom Community Church, and introducing a kind of a effective conversation, or difficult conversation kind of a program. And so they are only giving me like 2 hours a night over 3 or 4 nights. So a lot of my materials needs to go pre-reading, and I don't want to give them a lot of reading, so I want them to just look at video. Maybe a 5 minutes, 3 minutes videos, 10 minutes videos.
Right. Have you tried, I mean, one startup that we work with, is Nowbe, GNOWBE.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Micro
I've been
learning.
sitting in their session. That's right. I've been looking at them as well. In fact, the day before, they had a session with Institute of Adult Learning.
Yeah.
So I found that they were a bit faith-based as well, because they were interested whether you're a faith-based organization,
Yes.
talk to them separately. Do they give different discounts and stuff like that? Or?
Okay. So what happened is that the founder, right, is a Korean American. She's a believer. I met her a couple of times. And I think they recently make putting content on their platform free, right? So it's more enterprise that would pay, right, for the package, because there's analytics and, you're trying to do corporate training for a company, right, like Grab or whatever. So those fellas would pay. But if you're just putting, like your content on it, right, and at some point you want to charge, you can, right? But they are not charging people to put content online on their platform.
Okay.
Yeah, so you may want to explore.
Yeah, I got an email. So that's definitely, and it's also mobile as well. So
Yes.
it's easier. So you got to go mobile already now rather than just e-learning on the laptop. So I was quite rigorously looking at them as well. So, and then I realized faith-based, and this is going to be my, I'm doing this for free for the church as well. So if they can partner, will be even better.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I can introduce you to, I think one of their key person called Chi Meng. I mean, he's a believer, right? He's helping us with what we call EduTech for refugees. So we are trying to use that platform, right, to launch some education, in the refugee camps. And I tell you, our refugees, they want a mobile phone, right? Almost, I mean, a lot of people have mobile phones, right? Believe it or not, in a refugee camps.
Yep. In Singapore, is it?
No, the refugee camps are overseas in northern Iraq. Yeah.
Okay. And then they want some kind of education on mobile phones too.
Yes. For example, either learning English, right, is one, but they are asking for more, for example, basic healthcare. Some fellas wants to learn coding, basic, how do you write some codes, or how do you create a website? And you are right, I think if you can go mobile, because people are doing it on the run, Jerome. So, I mean, that small little screen is all they have, right? So your packaging and your platform needs to be optimized for mobile. Because if you develop things on your laptop, but when you move it to, when someone view it on mobile, it looks awful, right?
Yeah, and that's why Captivate is good, because it's got this fluid kind of a move from mobile to laptop. So if you have anything there, then if you're using mobile, you will go to a mobile size. It's called Fluid Display or something.
Okay, good. I guess you have to pay, right? I mean, all Adobe stuff. But I mean, the good thing is that the Adobe co-founder, he's a very strong Christian.
Okay, all right. It's not overly expensive. It's like $500 for a year, kind of a licensing. I mean, if it's for lots of people and churches, I don't mind planting, a bit of money there.
Yeah.
But trying to learn all these things is the challenge. So I was trying to look for people like Brian or anybody who can go side by side. Because, you go for training, you come back after 2 days, you forget everything. You need somebody just coach you a little bit more.
Yes. No, I mean, no problem. I mean, Brian and us, right? We are passionate about enabling all you guys.
A little bit, because I'm not sure who am I talking to.
Oh. Hold on. Let me turn on my video.
Yeah, so sorry about this, Brian. Right, we're jumping gun a bit, but
no
I've met you before. I can't.
Yes.
Do you recognize my face?
Yeah. I mean, I think a year or so ago, right? I think it was Rachel. Remember Rachel
Yeah,
Tan?
Rachel, correct. Yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
then you were doing something for the Philippines team, right? The Goducate
Correct.
team training and all that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
correct.
I was helping them get their Wi-Fi into their center.
Okay, all right.
Long
Okay.
range Wi-Fi we helped put in. And then subsequently, PC asked me to try to repurpose 360 Dunnan Road, right? So we are now calling it digital mission. And one of our aim is to enable people digitally. And so I'm so
Okay.
thankful, right? People like Brian and others, right, are sharing their skills to all of us. I think the
How
more
would
we
I
can help
address
yours
you?
be successful, the better.
Yeah, how do I address you?
SC, just my initials.
SC.
Yeah.
Okay, great, SC. Good. So this one just came up because I was trying to do something else, and then this church wanted some help. I thought I'll do this, and if it works well, it's like a program, right? You do offline, then you do online Zoom. Then we can replicate this. I was going to bring it back to PC as well and say, so how do we take this forward, and then the churches in the Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did the face-to-face with them, with the pastors. It's a
Yeah.
communication model, it's an engagement model. It went well.
Oh,
All right,
wonderful. Yeah.
so trying to see how we can, get that going, but not easy if you're just going to work on your own.
Yeah, tough. I mean, I know the hurdle, right? I mean, learning all this is like drinking out of fire hose sometimes, So it's helpful. I mean, in a sense, I'm thankful, right, that like you are really keen. I mean, we have people who come and then, they probably, right, not as keen, so they don't ask as much questions. So all this, I mean, you are being recorded, right? I'm telling you, because I think the questions you have, some others are asking, and then they will learn, right, from our recording.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing, right, Jerome?
Yes, Brian.
It's possible to do voiceover in Kdenlive.
Oh, you managed to figure that one out? Oh,
Yes.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you give me a second.
Sure. You got more than
The
that,
thing
man.
right now is because the microphone is being used for Zoom, right? It's not able to, but, okay. So you have to just create a new track. Wow, my PC is becoming slower. Hold on, just let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah, you can just put in a new track, and then there's an option to add an audio record track.
Okay.
And then from there, you can start recording.
Okay.
But right now, the microphone is being used exclusively by Zoom.
Understand.
Yeah, but then you can just go and then do the recording.
Now, because even PowerPoint, right, you can record your voiceover and you can save it as an MP4, but it's huge, right? You can't send it.
It's huge, but then there's a tool to make it smaller. And I think I mentioned in as part of the introduction, right? There are tools that allows you to make it smaller. So there's I think one of the more popular ones, because by default they will save it in a very high quality format. But then if you use this tool, it allows it to compress it a bit more, which is easier to share. I don't know.
What's the tool again?
Handbrake.
It's called Handbrake.
Handbrake.
Yeah.
I'm taking the notes.
And it's free also.
Yeah. It's also free.
Okay. And this is either what, for this as well or for PowerPoint? Because I talked about PowerPoint.
PowerPoint, because it's an MP4, right? Once PowerPoint, you can, it supports
so as long as you save it as a PowerPoint, MP4, then you bring it into this Handbrake.
Yes. And then you have an option to make it, there's a lot of presets. I mean, I have it installed here already. Once you have it, where's Handbrake? Yeah, this one. You have a lot of options to, so whether there's a different presets, for example, general web, you might want to make it a bit smaller, or if you want it for different devices, specific device, for example, PlayStation, Roku. I think in general ones, making it my preferred option for easily transferring it to YouTube, either the 1080p 30, 720p 30, this one drastically reduces the size a lot. So if it's 100 megabytes or those, it can easily make it a third or at least a half the original size. So this tool is, I think, very useful as well, especially if you're doing a lot of editing.
Yep. I need to start doing it. Need to move all my face-to-face content to some form of a recording and, you know, bite sizes. And Nobi was one of them I was looking at. Captivate from e-learning perspective, but it's even more complicated. For a start, I thought just make 5 minutes videos. Even, you know, LinkedIn. I used to type articles, but now they want us to post some videos. So it's easier. So, okay, good.
Okay. I think we can round up. So Jerome, feel free to, you know, get in touch with Brian if you, you know, need more help. I mean,